Yeah, we probably need one like one from up top all the way up above where it's at, shining down, and that might do it.
Usually, two in the room does a great job of lighting the place up.
Mm-hmm.
So, what happened? Give me a rundown. What happened while I was gone? I see that there's not very people around. I think they're all sleeping or something.
um, yesterday was fine, I suppose. Uh, Nothing weird happened until Foxtrot started having problems. The entire time it was he wasn't sure he wanted to live. He started getting suicidal. Um,
What happened to the boy that made him feel that way?
it's Mr. Smith being gone
What
was what
happened?
triggered it.
What happened to Mr. Smith?
Oh, Mr. Smith died.
What? He's dead? How did he die? Who killed him?
No one killed him. He had an accident over at the jail cell on the barbed wire. He hung from the neck.
Is that funny to you? Is this why you left?
No, it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous, and it happened so fucking fast.
I mean, it's gonna be really hard to replace. You're a friend of mine. I suppose he went out. It's not a very good way to die in barbed wire. It's very messy work. And and I suppose Mr. Wolf didn't take it so well. What happened to him? What did he do?
Uh, he started doing the whole suicidal aspect. Question is, will to live, etc. The doc was here. The doc was talking to him. Max was here. Max was talking to him. I was talking to him. It got worse. It got to the point where uh, Fox was talking to a voice in his head named Xander, and how Xander was always telling him to do things to hurt people, a lot of things. Um, it was, it wasn't just startling. It was, honestly, it was fucking terrifying. Um, we tried to keep him in the area, and then he would run. Then he'd demand we take all his guns, and then he would run. He couldn't. He kept saying, Xander wants me to be hot, so he's running around like crazy. And he can't do the opposite. And eventually he just had a total break, completely forgot everything that had just happened. Um, was convinced that codeine would keep him away, things like that. And it just got worse and worse and worse until Fox is telling us a story about how the whole 82 or 82nd Airborne backstory is a bunch of bullshit, and he's a CIA plant. And it just kept becoming more and more grandiose and more threatening. And it just got real bad.
I suppose it didn't end well for the boy. From what you're getting,
No,
I suppose.
no. Uh, Doc and I talked him fucking hours, and it just kept getting worse. And right at the end, like, he realized what was going to happen, and suddenly it was all, magically better and gone, and it wasn't. It really wasn't. And the doc did what had to be done. I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to fucking do it. And I felt so damn bad for Doc. Because, God, he was just fucking torn up. I got all fucking Fox's things in a dry bag out back where no one's gonna find it. His guns are on the rack inside.
That is That's unfortunate. Anybody else? Any other casualties, or is that just it? Is it all the people we lost over the weekend?
Uh, Anthony, that new guy, uh, there's apparently something. Fox was telling me something where it was Anthony ended up being executed by a group of people. Max kept saying that no, they weren't raiding a base or trying to take over someone's house or anything like that. And Fox felt like no, they really were trying to do that and they got caught. So I don't know. I don't know because we never got to the bottom of it.
Ah,
Um. So yeah, he's gone. Uh, Jack was with him. Jack was with Anthony, and Jack came back, but they had like I don't even know.
who's Jack? I don't think I've met him yet.
Apparently, a brand new one.
All right. Well, I want to get everyone together to at some point during the day. We'll make sure we have a funeral for the three men who've lost their lives, unfortunately. We'll have it at the graveyard in Cherno next to Williams as soon as we can. And it'll be back to business as usual, and we'll have to look to replace the men we lost afterwards.
Yeah, we never got Anthony's body back, but Mr. Smith and Foxtrot are over there together for the funeral over by the jail. So
Very good. It is, I feel like I may have made a mistake by leaving for the weekend to think about the actions of Friday. It shows just how important my position here is as the man in charge. Perhaps I could have done something or seen it happening or prevented that death or something.
I honestly, I don't know. With Mr. Smith, it was so fast. I don't think anyone. The doc was right there, and none of us could get to him fast enough. He was gone. It was so quick. Um, with Foxtrot, it was just. It went so wrong so fast.
It's the world we live in. It's not an easy world anymore. It's full of darkness and confusion and madness. And all we can do these days is keep the madness at bay the best we can. Continue on. We'll have a moment to mourn, but after that moment, I believe I need to help everybody focus on the future instead of dwelling on the past.
Yeah, I think that was part of Foxtrot's problem was, or his hang up, was he just kept dwelling on it about Mr. Smith. Like, he was really broken up. He had a gun to his head like 3 times that day.
How did Vadim, was Vadim around for any of this?
No, no, it was, for Foxtrot, it was me, the doc, and Max, but Max had to go to sleep. So it was just mostly me and the doc, and the doc ain't waking up today. He's fucking had enough. He said he was gonna sleep forever. Well, not suicidal forever, but you get my drift.
I was about to say, hopefully he's not dead in his office.
No.
Alright. When we get people gathered together, hopefully their bodies are in a location that's cool, so they don't decompose too badly, especially with...
Yeah. Yeah, Doc already took care of that.
So we'll have a funeral when we get everyone gathered together. We'll drive down to Cherno's graveyard, and I'll prepare the graves next to Mr. Williams, who died from his kidney failure. His graveyard's filling up faster than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Uh, before it reminds me, was there any hostile actions taken against us during the weekend? Any incidents else I should be aware of? Possible trouble?
Um, Not except for the guys that it was up in, I think they said Pavlovo, where Anthony got shot in the head. Uh, Sort of appropriate, I guess, considering he was mouthing off in Pavlovo last time. But I have no idea who did it. Uh, the Solus group at the hospital over in Cherno at the bridge. They said they're having problems with a group or someone called Bedlam over at the prison. They think they're about to get wiped out, but I mean that ain't here. So, but we ain't had anything besides Anthony.
Interesting. Well, I think we need to focus on hiring new security guards, and more of them as quick as possible. Let's see what we can gather out there. I fear in my travels I've been hearing stories. I've been hearing stories from a lot of people, and I believe danger is around the corner at some point, and I believe we need to prepare for it, just in case it comes our way. I need to talk to people on Pavlovo. I know Mr. Anthony had a big mouth, and he was a step away from being fired. So I was not close to the man, but perhaps if it was true, if he was trying to rob somebody's home, it would have been bad image for myself. But we'll still have a funeral for him just in case. We don't know the details for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
That's an understatement. And Vadim don't know anything about Foxtrot yet.
Have you seen Walker since then?
No.
Walker will be our new head of security, effective immediately. If you see him before I do, let him know that he's been promoted. Under grim circumstances. I won't have my accomplishments here, my dreams be ruined anytime soon. I think we only need to become more united in the endeavors that we seek to accomplish here. I know the world goes through its phases, and I believe dark moments may be ahead of us, but I believe they will be dealt with by themselves. People who seek violence tend to live very short lives. That's been my experience in the past. And I believe if we come together stronger, it'll only make us stronger.
Hopefully. Oh, I forgot. Um, Ironically, as a footnote to everything, remember the father with New Eden trying to go to the Kingsleys to rally against us?
I didn't hear about that.
Okay, so the father was pissed off about the way he was treated in here during that
So it
interrogation.
was the father.
I don't know, but that's what he was saying. And he had run into the Kingsleys on his way out and their way in, and he tried to hire them to strike against this compound, and the Kingsleys laughed at him and then showed up and told us. Um,
Ah,
yeah, that was their words, not ours. That was Kingsley's words. So on that, got in touch with Preacher and Electro, and he had been talking with the father. So Vadim and some of us met up with the father on the road, just happenstance, going to meet him in Electro, and the father was just straight ahead. He had Patty with him from Solus, and managed to catch up with them and questioning the father, and he's manipulative little bastard. He got The preacher zapped him with the goddamn paddles off Doc's kit, trying to zap life back into him and make him pay for his sins or some crazy religious nut job bullshit. And Father swore he saw Zool after that point, and praise be Zool, he was saved. It's just manipulative bullshit. So he was walking the fires of Zool, stripped down, lost his stuff, and started walking away, and Vadim followed, and Vadim shot him in the head.
He killed the father.
Yes, sir. So that ain't a problem, but I don't know if New Eden's gonna be a problem.
Or perhaps we might have to figure out some information then to see if we have to take action or not. Because if there's going to be a problem with my front step, I do like to take action against it. Perhaps we can get the boys together and talk to the Kingsleys and see if we can clean up New Eden if they are going to be an issue for good trade deals in the future. I believe the Kingsleys are very wise to come to us because I think they see the value of what we have created here, and we are definitely an ally people want out here in this grim world.
That or something that they can take. Depends.
It's quite a distance for the Kingsleys to control two compounds so far apart. They'd be foolish, especially if you don't kill all of us. We would take back the compound within a night if they're so stretched out.
Yeah.
I believe the Kingsleys would be a practical business thing in the future. I know Mr. Vadim and I weren't on the same eye to eye when it came to how he handled a situation with the Kingsleys' hired guards. I did tell them to use lethal though, so if somebody was causing issues.
No, they y'all use beanbag, I think. I had Max make a new pegboard for the guns in there, and it's literally just filled with shotguns, and all that's available there is beanbag ammo, so we just need to stock up some more.
Alright, very good. Well, if we find...
How'd your trip go?
It was alright. I had time to think about the moments, but now I have more to think about. I believe we need to prepare for a possible attack, I believe, at this point, if the father's men want to seek, I suppose, retribution for all that's happened here in my absence.
I'll be honest, so I'd visited them in New Eden a couple times before I came here. And there was a priest in that church on the hill, but apparently the father took it over. I don't know what happened to the priest, honestly. But
I know Sister Teresa used to live there.
I have no idea who that is. I'd never met her at all. I think Sage is actually helping Dr. Jean Poole up there now. So, yeah, I'm glad the door locks are changed. I'll say that.
That's not good. I think I've had enough of the people from the asylum and the prison for a lifetime, and the people from the asylum and prison are just not welcome here in general anymore. I'm tired of dealing with them myself. It seems every time I come across one of them, they all end up being trouble, and I do not need that kind of thing around here.
Though, on the bright side, in the father's bag was a clown mask and one of those hooked knives. You might have found your clown.
I should have had that man shot. I didn't have enough evidence at the time that he was a clown. You know if the boys from the hospital down the road are home? If they're home, I want to speak with them because I know they're having issues with the father's people as well. I think we can become united after the moments we've dealt with.
Yeah, all depends on what they do in New Eden, too.
I'm not horribly worried. I don't think the amount of men they have would be enough to take on us. But I don't want to lose anybody in a firefight nonetheless, if it can be avoided.
I don't want to be in a firefight, I'll be honest.
Likewise.
There's fresh meat in the crates now.
Very good, very good. I think my gun accidentally duped itself, because this is the gun I gave to Klaus. Why is it on my back again? I just realized I have two M4s, and I remember only having one. This is quite unusual.
Ooh.
Huh.
Do we need to make one disappear?
I don't know. I think I'm just gonna throw it in the rack. I don't remember if I had it or not.
Oh. No, I think one of those was Foxtrots. Oh, shit.
These are out of gas. I had to supply a room, then I'm gonna close the front door here. There's a ladder up here we can take. It's not to always open the gates back and forth.
Hmm. Yeah, I just don't much come up this way. First time I was up here was with, when Hendrix was here that first fight night.
I heard Hendrix is having all kinds of mental issues as well. I don't believe he's welcome here anymore after threatening to shoot somebody inside the hospital, the doctor's clinic.
Oh, is that what happened?
I believe so.
Well, we took him over to, Dr. Gene Poole, and the man recommended a damn, fucking lobotomy. So we came over here and fucking saw Joseph instead.
So is Mr. Gene Poole still living in New Eden then?
Yeah, he was in New Eden when we were there, just, what, like 4 days ago?
He said he had nothing to do with the father anymore, last he said to me.
I honestly have no idea. Yeah, this was really, really recent as well, so. There we go.
That man has been a nuisance as well.
How so? Savior.
I think he's been caught up with the wrong people too many times, as much as
Yeah, might have. I need to fucking sort these boxes, but you got more room in the tents again. I just wasn't sure what the hell was in this last box. It looked like your stuff, so I didn't want to mess with it, obviously.
yes, I left in quite a hurry.
Okay, that's
But,
fine.
I have a couple of things I need to organize myself. I found quite a bit on my journeys.
There's room in the tent now. There's some room in the car now. Stuff like that.
All right. I think I'm gonna start carrying a bigger gun with me, since all these events have been happening.
No, that's fair. What was it? It was... Fuck. Which two guns was it? I think it was this AK-101 and the M4? What are these two? Let's see. Yeah, the AK-101 and the M4 were, Foxtrots.
Right. We'll have to return the AK-101 to Pavlovo. That was a standing gun while his gun got painted.
Well, ah shit. Give me a sec. In that case, we should probably put it somewhere safe. So, it don't get taken or anything by someone.
Has there been a break-in recently?
No. Why?
I was just curious. We've made this place fairly secure, but we could probably find a good hiding spot for
Mm-hmm.
it if we need to. If we need to.
No, I was thinking more of one of the guys taking it and using it as their own. Unless you want one of them to do that instead of taking it back to Pavlovo.
The AK-101, we have a scar in Pavlovo that's being worked on by the gun shop. Um,
Gotcha.
but I believe we got a couple of guns here. We have.
Yeah. You
Okay.
got those long range bolt snipers, shotguns over there, and bunch of someone said that those shotguns, the black ones, are bad to use with the beanbag rounds. So I
Yes.
tossed them over here instead. I have no idea though.
All right. Yeah, we'll figure out when we get some new security guards. We usually have these higher caliber weapons ready for them. I believe I did accidentally grab the M4 and put it on my back. I threw a 9mm submachine gun on there.
Okay. I mean, it's your place. I was just moving stuff around. Oh, right. Pelt.
What's in there? There's another box.
Yeah, this box. Oh, yeah, that's the doc wants me to use that. I don't know if I'm going to use that. I think I'm about the only person around here that has any fucking medical knowledge besides Doc. And I warned him it was on fucking farm animals, but he ain't listening, so.
I'm worried that I think we need to gather some information about New Eden from somebody who's not affiliated with us or can be undercover. I want to know what they're about, and I want somebody to spend time there and infiltrate them. I think this would be the easiest way these days. I realize if I ask myself, I'm such a well-known name, people are going to tell me different truths than their own, and
Right.
I think I need to find somebody to do undercover work. Our runner, Mr. Flint, might be a good idea for the near future.
Yeah, Daredevil could work. Patty was on the way to New Eden with the father, but I don't know what was going to happen there, honestly, and Patty was just happy we intervened. It could be someone from Okay, so if you want Circle of Life, Solus is about to get wiped out, they feel, by someone named Bedlam and the prison. I don't know if that's true, but they feel like it's true. Someone was also saying that there was a weird announcement over the PA system, but none of us heard it, and we didn't get to hear what it was about. So I don't know if that's related. Circle of Life, uh, if you help out Solus in some way, I don't know what way you want to help them out with. See if they'll send someone over to New Eden and get some information.
Perhaps we could absorb Solace into our own ranks and give him a safer place to live, and then, or we could help them deal with their
Mm.
threats and have some strong allies really close by.
The way they're talking about prison, I don't want to touch that. Like, it sounds like they're ruthless and they're high powered.
Yes. We're high powered here too, but we need more bodies now since we're down a couple of men. I believe, I believe though, if we don't help them out, the trouble will come to us no matter what. Though, coming from the prison, they seem to be a bit power hungry, and they always want something. Especially since people from the asylum seem to be the same way. I think it'd actually be in our best interest to
I
help
don't
them
know.
out and deal with a threat that could be possibly on our front door after Solus falls. And if Solus falls, uh, who else do we have in the area
Oh,
to
you're
help
worried
us
there's
out?
no buffer zone?
There's no buffer zone,
Yeah.
yes.
At worst, talk it over with Vadim. And I know he's going to say it doesn't happen inside these walls. It's not an issue. Yeah. But there's future planning. Like, okay, if this does happen, what do we want to do then?
I will.
Instead of us scrambling right then and there.
I will talk to Vadim and the boys at Solus. We'll have a meeting I think what I want to do, what I would prefer to be done, is I believe I would love for us to go into that goddamn prison and clear it the fuck out of all the damn ingrates and fools over there, because I believe the man who originally killed Mr. Wolf, one of my security guards, resides there as well, and he did make threats towards me, so I believe we should clean out the prison. We have us combined with Solus and them. I believe we'd have enough guns, enough men to clean the place out quite promptly. I believe that the only way is for us to be safe. But I don't only take soldiers or people who'd want to go and risk their lives. I wouldn't ask you to do it
Yeah,
if you weren't comfortable.
I honestly, I don't know how I feel about something like that, cause I'm not a soldier. I'm a fucking farmer, you know? I don't know.
I'll talk to the Kingsleys as well and hire an army from them, and we'll raid the compound or something. In fact, I'll drive there as soon as daytime arrives, and talk to the Kingsleys.
You think they're gonna be awake this early?
I'd probably have this early, but perhaps later in the day, after I sort some business out. But I'll bring some guns as gifts, perhaps, or as payment for their time or something.
Yeah, well, you definitely got options.
Yes. I know we have quite the scavenger now with one of Vadim's boys. I don't think Vadim will be up for a firefight, but it's my call in the end. If he wants to stick behind, he's welcome to.
I don't know. The demon might surprise us.
I think if I play the cards out about what's happening, I think you would be willing to join us in this matter.
Yeah, might do.
A prison has been a thorn in my side since I've been here, and it's only gotten worse. I was hoping that it would sort itself out, but it seems that they are gathering in power from what it sounds like if Solus can't handle a couple of inmates.
I don't know if it's a couple of inmates. I don't know what it is, honestly. Hey, it's Solus.
We wondered if Mr. Waycrest was...
Ah, very good.
Solus and me.
I was about to head your direction, actually. I'd have a meeting with you boys.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Yes. Who are the boys?
Hello, Mr.
Jasper
Waycrest.
actually had business with you first, so we'll let him go first.
Who's all here? One moment.
Myself?
Oh,
Ma'am, if you could get the gate for me, please.
I'm Jasper. You know, I don't think me and you have met. I'm not with them, but you know, I'm definitely friends with them. It's good to meet you.
Oh, Jasper, I'm Mr. Waycrest. You've probably already heard of my name. And
yes, I've heard of you. It's very nice to finally meet you.
Good. And I remember everybody's names. I've had quite the journey over the weekend to think about Friday's fights, but I just want to make sure I get everyone on a first name basis.
I have a present for you, Mr. Waycrest, for what happened on Friday night. I am sorry again, sir. I want to make it up to you now.
And Patty, and then who's right back there behind you? The green cap. Rose. Hello, Rose. And Blue Beret, I can't remember your name off the top of my head. I believe you're the leader, right?
That's right, yeah, Dale.
Dale, yes. Come on in.
Appreciate it. After you.
Oh, Rebecca, is Mickey around by any chance?
I haven't seen...
No, he ain't.
Rebecca.
He was around yesterday, but...
I met my BFF.
I know you,
So,
Mr.
Dale,
Boy Toy.
I've heard that you're having issues with prisoners on the island.
Yeah, well, no such attack yet, no probing. We've had, I think, what we think are a few possibly spies or people trying to test our defences a little bit, but nothing hostile just yet. But it is on our mind. We've received threats. We've had people taken hostage and sent back to us with a bullet in their knee to tell the community that we're going to be under attack. So yeah, we're trying to fortify up and yeah, deal with it as best we can.
All right. Well, I've also had a thorn in my side from that goddamn forsaken prison. The asylum there and the escaped prison inmates. They've all been thorns in my side since I could remember. Moving into this location, and This is definitely one of the things I wanted to talk about to you. I'm going to have a
Right.
conversation with the Kingsley shortly to hire some of their men for security and maybe war, perhaps. I think I'm going to go in there eventually and clean the place out. I just need the bodies and the men. I have the guns to provide for superior firepower if we should need to go in.
I see. Sounds like a little crusade you're putting together there, Mr.
Yeah,
Waycrest.
that's a good like 40 fucking people right there.
And I figured that you boys are worried about the possible incoming attack, and I believe if you were to fall, I would be next on their list for targets and harassment. And I don't want this to come my way, and I believe if we stomp out these insects sooner than later, we'll have ourselves a bit of time of peace and quiet until the next threat arrives.
Well, yeah, I couldn't agree any further.
I think I hear somebody out there snooping around.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Right over there.
Oh yeah, look at that. Want me to go stop him or what? I don't know. I
would prefer if you don't mind, bring him back here.
yeah. Right.
Mr. Waycrest, could I have a quick word with you, sir?
What is it, Patty?
Regarding last night's incident with the father now, I just want to thank yourself and your men now for saving me.
I heard about that. I'm glad you're in one piece, Patty. The father
Oh, yes, now,
has been a thorn in my side for a while, and I believe he was the father back on Friday, but I didn't have enough evidence in that moment. Also, I wanted to apologize to you and your boys about that. I wish I would have had more evidence at the time. I would have executed the man myself. But he's been a thorn in my side as well.
oh, yes, sir, now, I believe he's been dealt with now, but I was going to his camp as a type of peace treaty between our camp and his camp now. But unfortunately, I found out later on that he was a very bad man, and he was put to trial by Abraham now, Father Abraham, or was it Preacher Abraham now? Sorry,
Preacher.
Preacher Abraham. And I just want to thank yourself and your men for your service now, of keeping me safe now.
You're welcome, I suppose. I wasn't there for the moment. I recently just got a rundown of what happened. But I do have an idea about New Eden. I believe that's where all the inmates from the psych ward ran to. And I hear there's a lot of rumors and misinformation coming from that location, so I want to get down to the bottom of it as soon as possible. I have some plans on how I'm going to go about that, but I think I will leave it to my own operators to figure that out. I don't want to have too many people who have the plans.
That sounds good to me now.
Now, Dale.
Well, with regards to Friday and your actions towards the father, I don't blame you. I feel you were just and fair with the facts that were put in front of you. So I was shocked to hear the events of last night when Paddy told me, but I can't say that they're not positive. I believe it's probably for the best of everyone. So I'll pass on my thanks as well.
All right, one moment. Your
I
friend
appreciate that.
Casper's back. How's it going,
Yeah,
Casper?
his name is Sachimo. His name is Sachimo, and he actually said, he hung out with Rebecca last night or something.
Hi, Sasquatch. Yeah.
Jesus
I know
Christ,
who he is.
you still around? Oh my God, lady! I thought you was going to bed.
I know.
It's just a random traveler. All right, where are you from, if you don't mind me asking? In the country, not before all this happened.
In the country, well, I had a brain injury, so I woke up kind of. I
Yikes.
think I was way north, and then I ran all the way south, and then I found you guys, and then the Solus, and then I tried to find more cool stuff, and then I went north again, all the way to the tippy top, all the way up, and then I came back here, and then what the hell else did I do? Yeah, and then I went all the way over that way, found a military base, and then I got held up by a guy named Anonymous, and he gave me a field carrier plate because he was nice. I don't know how that worked. It was
what
cool.
The fuck?
All right.
Yeah,
You're not. I thought you were somebody else, perhaps jumping around the walls. You're not who I thought you were. Pardon me for having Casper come and bring you over here. We're just
That's
having
alright.
we've had a couple of incidences that we've been on the red alert lately. As you could probably understand, we work with caution
Well,
here.
I don't really have a reference level, but I kind of understand. I mean, if you run a this camp, you got to take care of your little goofballs. Isn't that right, Becca?
You are a goofball.
Yeah,
that what
but
you're saying?
I'm not your goofball. I'm saying you got to take care of
No,
your
sir.
goofballs. You know, you
Sure
goofball.
Yeah,
thing.
you always got to take care of the balls.
What?
Yeah.
You guys and
Taking
your
care of the balls,
innuendos.
sir.
Okay, I'm gonna go meander to
Yeah.
Electro and go
Right.
All right.
do hood rat
So
things.
you take care on the road
you
there,
stay
brother.
safe.
All right.
Is that Dale?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing, brother? Take care
I'll
of
see you
yourself.
soon. Are you going, Jasper?
You getting all...
Jasper.
Yeah, right.
I will give you a hug too, sir.
Hey
but
Dale, if you want to
recognize
talk
me.
over here with me, we'll be over
How
here.
do you not
Yeah,
know
cool.
me, Mickey? We talked yesterday, you ding dong.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, Mickey's my BFFF. I'm Paddy. I'm his BFFFF.
I thought you were his BFFF.
So, I'm more of his carer, to be honest.
Alright, just might be a bit better away from the gates in the middle of the compound. Probably easier to talk about sensitive topics.
Yeah, of course.
But how many?
Sure,
How
it's
many?
good to see you, Mr. Waycross.
Likewise, Dale. My question for you though is, how many men strong do you have?
Oh god, everyone wants to be my boyfriend because this entire fucking town
Strong,
is a
fully
damn
equipped, and feeling fighting ready.
Oh,
I'd
yeah,
say
there's,
around
like,
5.
Seeing 2 women here in the south, it's kind of scary.
If push comes to shove, we can have 8 to 10.
Alright. I'm not going to force anybody in my compound who doesn't want to fight the fight, but I have probably about 8 security guards strong who are willing to go into a bit of a battle. And then I've talked to, if you want to come with me and join me as a diplomat to the Kingsleys, we can figure out some trade agreements plus some other long-standing agreements so that we have a lucrative business in the future. And perhaps I can convince the Kingsleys to join us in the fight in clearing out the prison.
You know, it's like when
I bet they would be interested in any weaponry they have
yeah,
there.
except, you know, in the
And
Apocalypse.
perhaps we can do a split of the profits in the raid evenly between the 3 of our groups.
Of course. I'd like to say at this point, with regards to any operation going towards the prison, as despite Solace's
Alright.
how shall I put it, infancy within within the area, we are more than willing to help, and I know if I asked some of my boys, they would certainly be up for the fight.
Very good. I have some more friends I could look at hiring for the situation.
Yeah, okay.
Jesus.
I just know that eventually the prison is going to become a bigger issue than it already is, and it's already become larger
I
since
can't
you've
hear
been
myself think
here.
over this
And
fucking bullshit.
shut up, Mr. Dale.
It's
They were a small
fine.
prick in my side,
Alright,
but they've
I'm
become
taking
a
that.
rather large thorn at this point. Pardon me, I've hiccups sometimes.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Take it.
Yes, that is my
Well,
thoughts.
if you need me, Mr. Waycrest, I'll go in as a special operation and I'll take them all out.
I'm sure you can do that, Patty, but I think we'll go with the show of force of numbers to be safe. We have a loudspeaker
Of course.
and so on, and we could perhaps ask for their immediate surrender, which I doubt they will do. Might be easier if we show such high numbers of us arriving at the gates. They'll let us in and surrender, but I don't see that being the case. Actually, I won't.
From my understanding, the prison's on an island, is it not?
Yes.
The only access being via a bridge.
Via bridge, yes. I believe if we gather up our troops quickly today, we might be able to gather enough people to storm it while they call off guard, and whoever's around in the security, who's ever around in the prison, we can capture and gather up, perhaps.
Understood. Well, I'll spread the word. Well, within my own group, of course.
Yes, I was trying to keep this from going to too many other groups. I'm gonna leave it within my own group, and then we'll talk to the Kingsleys, and we'll go from there. I believe that what would make the Kingsleys the most interested is that the amount of profit there would be for them to gain from this. Whatever guns the prisoners had robbed or taken from the civilians around the area, they'd probably be very interested in that kind of weaponry.
Yeah. Well, they probably still have access to a large stockpile. From my understanding, the prison would have had an armory, so it would make sense that they still have a large stock there, especially with all the crime they're committing in the area. It certainly would be useful. It would certainly be in the Kingsley's interest in terms of profit, I believe.
I saw somebody with a pink shirt I didn't recognize one moment.
Could have been a couple people.
Is that you, Jasper?
It is. He's in a dress.
Hey, it's me.
I was just checking, make sure somebody didn't haunt my wall.
Yeah.
Who do we have at the gate here?
Did you find a name?
Is it Sharp?
We actually managed to
No.
figure out my name.
Yeah?
My name-
Nice.
Here, you again.
And when
I don't remember.
the other brother here went
Remember either, love.
out, I decided to go down where I washed up and see if I could find anything from the boat I was on, and I found a case with some information.
Oh, Jasper,
Hey, what's up?
get your sweet ass over here.
I don't have time for somebody who's lost their memory again. I've dealt with too many of these kind of people.
I'm going to open a fashion shop called Patty's Secrets.
But hey, as
Alright.
long as you're finding what you need,
Behind you,
that's all that
Jasper,
really
behind you.
matters.
Hey,
You
it's
know?
there, right?
Well, I think he's on a treadmill.
Hey, fucking
Lovely, yeah.
perfect right there. Look at that.
Oh, savage, Mr. Woodcrest.
I'm a little irritated with that biter
the way to take
interrupting the
care of
meeting.
that.
Yes. That's
Hey, you know,
quite effective. One moment. We have more guests. More guests.
dick. And they're dead. Oh, I hear more.
I knew better to shoot my gun like that,
They're all
but
gonna come now.
And there's another one.
They're just
Hey,
gonna
you
keep
know-
coming the longer you do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Would
see
you
any
mind
more.
if
Oh,
I
there's one.
scavenge them? No, because I'm a bit of a scavenger and I'm not too, you know.
Oh, there's another
how about the corpse? You're welcome to it.
Ow.
one. Oh, this gun fucking sucks.
Mr. Day, what we'll do is we'll, once you inform your
Here's
people
like 18
at your
feet to the
community
left,
there,
10 feet
I
away
will
from
go to the Kingsleys after I pick you up, of course, because I want us to go together so we have the proper parties there, and we'll discuss terms with the Kingsleys, and hopefully they'll be interested to join us. But I imagine if there's a profit for them, they're more than willing to take us up. I believe anybody from Pavlovo would be bad to deal with, because I believe a lot of the prisoners end up there eventually doing deals with Mr. Wilson, so I believe we'll have to keep it quiet from Pavlovo and so on.
Well, that's okay. I've made some contact up there. They know we exist, but yeah, they're mighty friendly with us. Is it possible I could talk a little more in private, Mr. Waycrest? There's something I'd like to share with
Very well, follow me.
you. Excuse me, friend. I feel there's something worth mentioning to you, which is, as a businessman, I'm sure you're aware, to get straight to brass tacks, as we used to say back in Blighty, the reality is there's no reason for you to help us at Solace. There's no reason for you to want to keep us, apart from that we're a weaker settlement in the area. If we're talking purely business, that we're a weaker settlement in the area, so at the moment we would actually be a better target for criminals than yourself. So it's sort of within your interest to keep us going, so that as well you can look to be strong in the community, and etc, etc. Now that's purely on a business level, so I thought I'd approach you on a business level as well. Excuse me, just one sec. I have to hide this because it's that, I believe it's to be that rare. Please take a look at what I've just put there. Now, what I can confirm to you, and that I hope that you understand what this is, sir, with any medical background, that is O negative blood. It is the universal donor type. It's available for all types of blood to receive that.
Well, Mr. Dill, we
And
actually have a man here who has the same blood type that the doctor takes from quite often. Believe it or not.
Oh, good God. Well, you're very lucky. It's taken me some time to find someone.
Well, Mr. Dill, I'm going to give you my perspective on why I believe it's important that we keep your settlement alive. Not only would you be a viable business partner in the future if you do gather more resources and more people to your side, it means more numbers is more protection, and having the proper allies in the area means that my business will probably stand around a lot longer. It's better to make friends than enemies, as you can imagine. Not only that, I am quite aware that you are a bit of a buffer zone between me and the prison at the moment. But if you were to fall, we would surely be next for them to hassle with. Despite me having large numbers and a high security force, I'd rather snip this in the butt before it gets any worse, as you can understand.
I fully understand, and I'm very glad that you have that opinion, because there is the element of business. However, there is also an element there where I can see you do have a slight amount of compassion to try and help us rather than, I don't know, necessarily just go straight for them yourselves. And you brought us in on this, so I really appreciate it, and it won't be forgotten.
I can assure you, though, if it was not a prison, if the prison was not a threat to me as well, I would leave you to your own problems. For I know sometimes diving into problems could be bad for myself. I like to keep a keen eye for situations that I should be a part of and I should not be a part of, because I know sometimes rubbing your nose in the wrong location can sometimes bring back unwanted results. But I believe we're both in the same predicament at this point. These people cannot be trusted, and they are wild cards that are bad for business.
Yeah, I fully agree. Okay, well, I'm glad that we're at a mutual understanding with that, and I'd ask, what is your decision? What should we do next?
I want you to let your men be aware of what's happening, get them up to speed. How armed are you when it comes to weaponry? Do you all have heavy firepower automatic weapons, or do you need to be lonesome during the fight?
Automatic weaponry, we have some on standby. It is usually for code red situations when gunshots go off nearby. We don't like to show them off too much, but I think it's possible we may be able to supply a few of our troops to move forward with you, but any loans, I'm sure, would probably be better than what we have, I must admit.
Right. I want you to keep this on the down low as long as you can. If these prisoners catch whiff of what is happening, the war will be even harder fought, and it won't be as a quick and decisive victory as it could be.
No, absolutely. Well, with your permission, though, Mr. Waycrest, what I'd like to do is I'd like to send 2 of my guys to start scouting the area very slowly and carefully and make sure not to get caught. One of them is a US Marine who was a spotter for a marksman for some time, and he's been training a member of our group, and they work very well together going up north and slipping through the darkness and heading back to us.
If it was any other location, I would say that would be a good idea. The fields and trees around, but you have one bridge onto the island, and they have watchers, I believe, so approaching it like that might be a bad idea, and it's not a very big space to watch from or listen from, and if your man gets caught, this could be an issue. I'd rather we do the shock and awe surprise, where we get our forces together all at once, and we arrive with short notice, so that they are surprised by the numbers and the shock of it all before they can organize themselves. I fear that if one of your operators get caught, it will blow the entire operation out of the water.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. So when it comes to the assault itself, the details will have to be discussed with the Kingsleys, I'm sure.
Yes.
Would you be taking vehicles as a convoy, or would we head out on foot from this area?
I would take a convoy there. If you have a vehicle as well, we'll drive there as a convoy to the Kingsleys to offer them the deals, perhaps. I believe they'd be interested in the larger gathering. I believe what would interest them is what they would earn from it. So I know they're very business focused, and if they can have they gain a large amount of supplies from it, it would be a very good idea then.
I see. Well, yes, I fully agree with that. And again, I'm very happy to be on board. I think just a further point regarding the father and the New Eden issue. I believe Actually, well, are you aware of the location of New Eden?
I am aware of it, and I'm aware where all those miscreants are coming from. I believe they're not as high on the priority list because they're not as well equipped, and they're not very organized, especially with their father being dead. I hear he was shot in the head, so I imagine he would be very dead then.
Yes. Okay. Well, yeah, that's good. I just wanted to check you knew the location because Paddy has some information about them, but I'm sure it's things you already know.
Yes. Both the Kingsleys on our side and with Solus on our side, and all of us working together as three would have more than enough men to assault the prison. Pardon me.
No, it's a nasty cough you've got there, Mr. Waycrest.
It's been pretty bad, but I have coding for it. But I believe if we have enough...
You have the doctor check. You do have the doctor check you out, don't you, Mr.
Yes,
Waycrest?
I do. It's quite... Don't worry about my cough. I have it under control.
None of my business, just making sure.
But yes, if we gather enough people for this assault, it'll be the perfect storm.
Well, I'll offer as much support as we can give. You have my word on that.
Very good. I do have some other people on the road that I know who'll be interested in helping as well, but I would head back to Solace and gather your men and get them up to date on what is happening. And once you are up to date with your men, come back here and we might drive to the Kingsley's compound.
See? There's the date.
What the fuck do you mean? I don't even know what that is. You just had to explain to me the concept.
What?
I don't even know. I'm very fucking confused.
I'm confused. It's alright.
Casper, if you don't mind me asking, are you with Solace or are you just a wanderer on your own, lone wolfing it, or do you live somewhere?
You know, I've been helping them ever since I saw Patty. I wouldn't say you know, I like him. I would definitely help him if something happened, but I don't really live anywhere. I'm kind of, you know, like a nomad, if you will. But you know, I do like them. I like Patty. I like Dale. Terry was super nice to me when I first met him. They've been very good to me.
Well, if you're looking for a position and a job that gives you security and big weapons, I do need more security guards, especially since we've had a couple incidents recently. And if Dale he would support that, I believe you would be perfect for the job if you would take up on it.
Good. I could certainly vouch for Jasper. He's a solid bloke. Good aim.
You know, yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, you know, there was an asshole in the woods. He tried to rob me. That was you know, probably good 12 hours ago at this point, I think, something like that. You know, he's taking the room temperature challenge now, but that's okay. You know, give me more details on this job, and I'll definitely consider it.
All right, so basically,
who do I got to talk to about?
It'd be me, because I'm in charge of the entire operation here. So, basically, we need more security guards. I like to make sure my security guards have high-powered weaponry in their hands. Not only does it give it a good shock at all to people who come across us, it also lays down heavy fire upon anybody who wishes to confront us. At that, if you're looking for me, you are representing me. And with that being understood, that your actions have consequences and they come back negative toward me. So if I find out, you're robbing somebody out there, with my equipment that I have given you, and people find out you work out for me, it doesn't go so good for my employees. I've had to fire people in the past, and sometimes they live in a short-lived life in a very shallow grave. Other than that, I like to run a very clean ship here, and we control a lot of power in the land. Despite me being a businessman about entertainment, but at the same time, we need to be strong enough to defend against any would-be threats out there. I can tell you now, every threat I've come across, I have extinguished with very little compassion. I make sure I'm a man of logic and a man of facts. I don't let emotion get in the way of these things.
You know, I completely agree.
If you're interested in going into a trial period, I could use extra security, especially since we've lost some good men recently. And I feel that you would be a good addition if you were to accept the job.
You know, I think I'll take you up on it.
Very good. Head of security is Mr. Walker. Currently, he's not aware of it yet since our last head of security has recently lost his life. But there's a chain of command here. All issues go to Mr. Walker. And after that, Mr. Walker, if they're too big for him to handle, go to Vadim. And then me right afterwards. Small matters you first should be able to deal with if somebody's asking about basic information or so on. or if they're asking to see me directly, if it's some random man I've never heard of, it's not somebody of importance, they are to talk to security or Vadim before me. Because there are people out there who wish me dead. I don't wish to answer the door and be shot. So this is why we have a chain of command here.
All right.
But it's,
All right. Sounds simple enough.
we'll give you a lock information once you've proven yourself here. I don't just give it out right off the back, but you are in good standing if Dale says you're in good standing.
You know, yeah, I appreciate that. I really do. You know, it means a lot to me, Dale.
I can vouch for Jasper. He's a good man now.
Good. Mr. Patty there, you said you had an apology gift for me. Let's see it. I believe you,
Oh, I did. No, sir, I wish I had more time now, but I'll give you this now, because I found this and I thought, okay, this is for Mr. Waycrest. There you are, sir. Now, sir, do you wear fanny packs?
I wear belts, Mr. Patty.
I found a fanny pack for you, sir, and it's entirely up to yourself now. No disrespect, but I think this would look fantastic on you.
I prefer the professional look, but I appreciate the offer.
I understand that, sir.
Patty, I'm
No
glad
problem.
I'm glad that we could come to an agreement. I'm glad that you have no hard feelings. I just like you to know that I look very poorly upon people who fix fights in my arena, and you're lucky you got off of the bruising you did. I happen to keep my temper in check, but these days sometimes it's hard to say what I'll do next time. I'm glad that you've learned your
I
lesson.
understand that, sir. And next time there will not be a problem. Understand that? I promise. I will be in my best behavior now, sir.
Very good. Because there won't be a next time if you break my rules again. So you understand.
I understand that now.
Very good. Any other business we need to attend to? I'm lacking.
Not as far as I'm aware, Mr. Waycrest, unless you can think of anything in particular that you need here that we can provide you in order to commit to trade. Other than that.
Not at the moment. I haven't been focusing on trade since these issues have arisen. But the only thing I know I could always use a large stock of and that we'll trade for is alcohol. You find tinctures or beer. We always need a large supply of it for the Fight Club nights, and we always trade wheeling for that.
Course, yeah. We may be able to synthesize some from the ethanol stocked at the hospital, so I'll keep an eye out for what we can manage there.
Very good. I believe there's a man who's starting a bar up named Frank, and I believe he has a crate full of moonshine. He'll be sending my way eventually, and once I get that delivery, I believe we'll get some friends together and have some drinks over a prosperous future.
Well, that does sound appealing, doesn't it now, Paddy?
If there's drink, I'm there, boys.
Yeah, of course.
I'll
Well,
tell
I
you something,
think we've
Mr.
taken up
Waycrest.
enough of your
I
day,
used
Mr.
I used to
Waycrest.
be able to snort 29 peanuts and drink 5 Guinnesses in the space of 29 seconds. I used to have an oracle.
It's that's a very interesting skill you have there.
Cause significant brain damage now, but I'm okay.
That's great.
I wouldn't call brain damage okay,
Good
Mr.
job.
Patty, but I'm glad you're still standing after that feat of strength.
Always now. Can't put an old dog down, you know what I mean, sir?
I'm not sure many would survive that kind of thing, but it shows the grit you have, Mr. Patty.
Oh, I've bashed my head off many a wall and I'm still going.
Oh yeah, I could tell.
When I see Mickey, I'll be sure to let you know you came by. And you and your friend
My
can be reunited.
BFFF, indeed.
Yes. How do we have the gate?
Heard somebody outside just there, I think.
Yep.
See, look, Jasper's already straight on the job. Look at that.
Very good.
Hey, what the
There he is. It looks like,
Yeah, I see him.
how are you doing?
Hey, how are you?
What's your name, son?
Mr. Compton.
Compton, it's good to see you again. I'll remember you eventually.
Right.
I've met so many people in a short time span that it's making it really hard to remember everybody's name. Mr. Compton, I believe you're settling in nearby. Are you comfortable with your new location?
Oh yeah, very comfortable. Thank you very much for checking in on me.
Now, Mr. Compton, I have a question for you. What do you know about the prison island? You know anything about it? Have you had any issues with prisoners?
Oh, I've heard that there is a settlement over on Prison Island. not too sure who they are or why they're living there, but that's all I've heard.
Well, I have some good advice for you, Mr. Compton. I would steer clear of the prison island. They are keen on robbing travelers passing by. Now, Mr. Compton.
Oh, excellent.
How do you feel about a good gunfight in the future?
Yeah, I don't mind. If it's for my territory and to protect my areas, then I'm all for it.
I might be able to offer you a gun if I need some extra security. How do you feel about being a security guard in the future?
Yeah, well, you know where to find me. Come and grab me, and I'll be sure to be obliged.
Mr. Compton, what part of the coast here are you living on? Near Toronto? I forget.
So if you like, if you head right, let's see, it's probably directly in line with my finger right now.
All right.
Just on the coast there, there's a little jetty that kind of peels out in between the two loading docks there. I've kind of secured that one off. You'll be able to see it. It's near a.
Oh, you live on there, all right.
Yeah, that's
seen
me.
it.
That big ass place.
I'll be sure to check it out then. Do you have any friends who live with you? Is it just you by yourself, or do you have people you look for? Or look out for?
Just me by myself. I was considering teaming up with the. I'm not too sure who they are. I know one of them's name is Patty, and the head leader's name is Dan, maybe. But
Say hi.
Patty was trying to.
It's a very small world indeed. Well, I can tell you what, in the near future, we might need your hand in a certain matter, and I can tell you, if you were to help out, you will be greatly rewarded with some better firepower than that little shotgun you have on your back.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I've got more guns than you think. I haven't got anything extensive, obviously, but all I need is a Mosin and my pew scope, and should be fine with that.
Very good.
Fucking pew scope?
My pew scope.
Yeah, alright.
Alright, guys. Do you guys need anything in particular?
Alcohol.
Alcohol? I've got one beer, not on me.
You got it back at your place?
Yeah, I got it back at my place.
What'll it take for you to separate with it?
Well, I'm gonna go and have a nap now, and once I jump on, I'll run it over for you free of charge.
Alright, very good. Appreciate that.
What was your name, man?
Yeah, I'm Jasper. Nice to meet you.
Jasper. Alright, Jasper. Well, I should be over in a couple hours after my nap. Run you your beer, man.
Yeah, alright, sure.
Also, Dale, I know that you didn't know my voice very well, but we're having a funeral later today. If you and your friends are welcome to join us, if you would like. It will be in the graveyard in Cherno. We lost 3 good men over the weekend, unfortunately.
Right, I see. Including Mr. Smith, I believe.
Yes, he had an accident and he hung himself in the barbed wire accident.
You see you.
See you around.
Right.
Yeah, stay
Mr.
safe.
Smith? Oh God, no! Mr. Smith's gone.
Yeah, he's unfortunately he's died.
Oh Jesus, now. Oh, his voice was like velvet now, sir.
Yes, he'll be greatly missed. He was a good business partner. He came back and was short-lived from his absence. Unfortunately, I wish he was still around, but unfortunately, his clumsiness got the best of him. But we'll be having it later today, and I will inform you when that is happening.
Is it the church that's between our 2 settlements, or is it the one directly in town?
I went between our 2 settlements.
I see. Yeah, that's I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure
across
at
from
least
the
some of
gas
us will be able
station.
to attend. Yeah. Well, thank you for the invitation to that as well, folks. Appreciate it. We didn't know Mr. Smith for very long, but he was a good man.
Yeah, no worries.
All account.
I believe if we had a good gathering there, it would show a good bit of warmth, I suppose, and in the ones who have fallen on duty and to the terrors of this world.
Well, I suppose we better leave you to it. I suppose I'll have to inform some of our group about the about the ongoings and prepare as best we can.
Very good then. Have a safe travel, Mr. Dale. Paddy, and Rose, I believe. The other one's name is Rose.
Honor to see you again now, sir.
Yep.
Yes.
I suppose for the near future we should be calling you Commander Waycrest, but until then...
I don't need to.
Take care.
I see was right behind you. I couldn't see over your big backpack.
And sir, if you see Mickey, tell him I said hi now.
I'll be sure to
Yeah, catch you guys later.
give him a potato or something and say Paddy.
See you later,
Be
Jasper.
careful.
You take care.
Yeah, I love you, Patty.
Dale,
I love
did
you
you
too,
go
buddy.
over what that PA announcement was with Mr. Waycrest?
Oh, good God, no, I didn't.
Oh, big
Okay.
fuck.
Yes, it was. I'll make it sharp. We had a gentleman asking us about the PA system. We informed him where it was. He said he was just going to look at it. The next thing you know, as far as we could tell, it was very similar to the broadcast that took place before all of this shit happened. It was a similar voice, similar stuff. So we ran to go and see if we could catch him, but he was mighty fast. But I do recognise his voice. If I heard him, I'd recognise it again. With a thick British accent, talking like this all the time. And he's wearing a black, what was it now? Sort of a black pea coat type of thing. Yeah, he was an odd chap. Sounded quite sort of wicked, sort of evil, like kind of like almost something out of an old Disney film. But yeah.
Yeah, right.
And it's the people from the prison, you assume?
I couldn't tell you, Mr. Waker. Honestly, I think it might be something deeper. I think it might be something we haven't encountered yet.
Yeah, I've actually been meaning to look for this fellow and see if I could talk to him. Talk to him.
What was said on the broadcast?
I can't remember the exact. I'd have to. It was a voice that was very similar to the one from that broadcast, and it was saying numbers, and it was saying things about different places in the world and stuff to do with the stock exchange, I think. And it was strange. I don't know if the guy had just put up old newsreels or something, but either way, it was odd.
Is this something from before the carnage that struck the world?
It's possible, yeah. It's either something from before or a similar recording someone's made.
Well, to take a look on it then. I'm not aware of anything like this at all, Mr. Dale.
No, well, as we're right next to the address system, if something happens again, I promise you we'll do our best to rush up there and find who's behind it.
All right. More information would be good then.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I shouldn't hold you boys here longer if you've got things to do. Best of luck, and I'll come look for you when we need to. Head to the Kingsleys and request their aid.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right, Mr. Waycrest.
All the best now, boys. And watch out for those goblins and the leprechauns now.
Yeah, we will, Patty.
Yeah, the goblins and the
I tell you,
Enjoy
took
your
my
new,
jelly beans
enjoy your
again
new
last night.
employment.
I'm definitely gonna work hard on it.
All right,
See you later,
Jasper,
bud.
I'll show you around the compound.
I think
Right,
he'll
yeah, I'll
be
just,
good there. Dave.
alright.
I think he'll be good there.
As you can see, this is the front gate here. They did all the hard work making it look good as it does. On the side here is our checkpoint. If somebody has grenades or explosives and they're new, they need to come through here. And there should be crates in here at some point, and they will be able to put the grenades in the crates, and they'll come through. But it's mostly for Friday nights events. We take the grenades away from people. Let's give you an idea of the perimeter we have here. This right here is kind of a weak spot. It might need to be kept on, but we have a tower key here. We'll build a tower there eventually.
All right.
This room right here, this building is up for grabs when it comes to rooms. If you want to build a room here in the future, once you finish your trial, you put a wall through these pillar and up, and you can make this into a private room.
All right.
This right here used to be, or still is, the security room. There's a lock on it. This is where the security guards usually take their breaks and so on.
All right.
This is our side gate. Nobody but our own is allowed to the side gate. Even if they complain or whine about it, they can go around to the front or they can fucking leave. The side gate has had issues with people cutting the lock of it in the past, so keep that in mind.
All right.
Back this way is the storage room and the parking lot for the cars. This area is not allowed to any civilians outside of our compound. If they're not with us, they're not allowed back here. If we see them back here, detain them and probably put a bullet in their head. I have very little patience with these.
All right, easy enough. Yeah, I'm on the same page.
Over here's the fight. I don't know if you've been in here for the fights before, but this is where the fights happen in the fight club room.
Yeah, right.
Over here is just another side gate. We do plan on double fencing the wall here and finishing the tower in the near future. Over here is the clinic where the doc lives. If you ever get injuries or fucked up, we have a very good doctor there. Right here, if you do need to detain somebody, this is our jail cell, the prison. And Mr. Walker, head of security, lives inside this little building right here.
All right, sounds good.
Let's get a bit of one for the fire. If you have any questions, let me know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I'll, if I think of any, I'll let you know. Seems pretty straightforward, though.
Yeah, I noticed you're off shivering. Me too. I had to wring out my top.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Now, Mr. Jasper, what have you heard about the Den of Vice before your forthcoming?
Good times, fights, alcohol, and drugs, and then that's it.
Right. One of the reputations I like to keep well known is that I'm also not a man to be fucked with. Anybody who's caused me any issues or tried to walk on my shoes are now living in a very shallow grave at this point. I run a very good business here. I am to be respected, and I give everybody the just respect they deserve. I deserve respect in return. And I have very little patience for thieves, bandits, and so on. So usually people who earn my wrath are the people who lie, cheat, and betray my trust. And so far, very, very few people have done that. People who have, and it turned out so well for them. I'm all about reputation and image. I like to uphold a very good standing and a very good image for this for the world we live in. I don't know if you've heard of our. Whenever we drive to Pavlovo to do our trades with Mr. Wilson, we drive in a convoy and we take all of our security guards at once. And as you can imagine, it is quite a spectacle to behold when you see 2 to 3 cars arrive and a shitload of security guards come out of the doors defending me in charge of the entire operation. You always hear whispers of awe or people impressed in the crowds around us. And not many people have that kind of security and that kind of protection, as you can imagine.
Yeah, right. Alrighty, yeah, I like it. I like the no bullshit. You know, I like to live my life the same way. I like the spectacle. You know, let people know, hey, don't fuck with us. You'll probably fucking die. I like that.
I might have a very harsh reward for people who play dumb games. They get dumb rewards. But at the same time, most people respect the boundaries, and I can be very compassionate when I need to be.
Yeah, right. I like it. I agree.
I'm not a man who looks for trouble either, so I don't usually put my nose in other people's affairs unless their affairs directly affect my affairs. As you can see, the prison has become a thorn in my side for a very long time now. First with the mental patients escaping the ward from the psych ward, and now the prisoners from the actual prison itself.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't heard much about him. The first thing I actually heard about him was when they shot that doctor in the leg and sent him on over the Solus, being like, hey, you know, we're watching you, we're gonna fuck you up, you know, whatever that stupid message was.
Yes, you need to be very careful. If you ever pass the prison island, they are quick to rob anybody who goes by there, from what I hear.
Yeah, alright, I'll, normally I steer clear of that place anyways. I mean, it just reminds me of, you know, like Destination Truth, or Ghost Hunters and shit like that, you know, real spooky stuff, so I, take a wide berth.
Yes, I can show you the only ghosts you'll find there are the ones who want your guns.
Yeah, alright, I'll keep that in mind, I appreciate it. But you know, as for guns, you know, you don't have to worry about me. I got this M4. You know, I'm able to arm myself pretty well. I like to, you know, I venture into the fucked up areas of the world on my own.
That's good that you keep yourself well armed, because I made sure every single security guard who works for me has a gun that does very reliable damage. And that's why whenever I trade, do large trades with Mr. Wilson, I always come back with a lot of very decent weaponry.
Yeah, it's very smart, you know, show of force, show of the whole I'm better than you. It's very good.
My goal is not to show people that I'm better than them. That is, usually comes from my actions. Yes, I like to keep it as a form of respect, because when you start saying you're better than somebody, they see that as a disrespect. But by showing your professionalism, I'm a man of business, and I have a reputation to uphold, and I keep that reputation in very high regard. And I believe the gun traders respect my my deals to do with them, and people in the area respect my show of force. And that's why I've never been robbed myself, or for one man in the very early stages of the Den of Vice. He walked into the side gate when I was preparing the new supply room. I was starting to build, and he wandered in, and he had me at gunpoint, and I, of course, would follow his demands. He took my guns off my shoulders, but I always keep a gun in my jacket pocket. And as soon as he was greedily going through my backpack and vest, I turned around and I filled him full of lead. And I was the last of that man.
Very good. Yeah, you know, fuck that guy, alright? Yeah, you know, I can appreciate it. For what it's worth, I've only heard good things about this place. You know, I mean, granted, I've only heard, you know, what it's all about and that the fights are good. But, you know, like I said, it's all been good.
Well, that is good to hear. I'm happy that my reputation has expanded throughout the territories. So far, everything I hear is good things about me. Occasional rumors and whispers, but I am quick to track those down and make sure they don't happen any longer. Misinformation is a downfall to any great civilization.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I agree. Is there anything you need done as of current? You know, I'm very good on my feet.
I think at this point, we're mostly waiting for the rest of the soldiers, our security force to wake up, and then you will join me on the ride to the Kingsley's compound to have our meeting, and then after that, I believe we'll be beginning the raid on the prison compound to deal with the issues at hand.
Oh, I'm fucking excited. I love a good gunfight.
That's good to hear.
All right, sounds like a plan. You know, when we get to the compound, do you want all of us walking in there? Do you want a few of us outside, you know, in the tree line in case shit goes south? Or do you trust them enough? I've never met them personally. I've only seen them once and heard about them.
I believe we're gonna immediately begin sawing off the locks, and anything we come across, we're gonna tell them. It is if we come across them, if they don't start firing right away, I would say, ask them for their surrender, and then detain them and do a secure location and take all their weaponry and so on off of them.
Oh, I meant the Kingsleys. I fully intend on just shooting these fucking prisoners. From what I hear, they're all douchebags.
Oh, what did you mean about the Kingsleys? Repeat your question again.
Say, we're all just, we're all just gonna walk in, you know, have a nice little meeting. Do you know them a lot? Do you trust them? Or do you want some of us hanging around outside in case shit goes south?
I believe they respect my wishes well enough. I don't think they're going to be the issue, especially we're offering a very good reward. If they're going to help us, they're going to get a large share of the weapons that would probably be stored there. And they've worked in security before in the past. I believe Friday wasn't the best display of our fight club for them, but I believe they would like to establish a very lucrative business with us in the future.
All right, sounds good.
I believe I'll be taking a moment to rest. I have some things to think about, but I'll be back from my rest in a couple hours.
Yeah, all right.
Mm-hmm. Alright guys, that was a short stream. It's 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. I have some things to go do. I need to go take care of some important errands, but we'll be back on later. For sure. It's a big backpack.